And the fourth rain is as strong as iron, because iron crushes and shatters all. So, like iron that breaks in pieces, it crushes and breaks all these. Daniel chapter 2, verse 40. After this I looked in the night visions and saw a fourth beast, fearsome and burly, exceedingly strong. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and crushed, and trampled down the rest with its feet. And it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Daniel chapter 7 verse 7. These great beasts, which are four sovereigns which rise up from the earth. Daniel chapter 7 verse 17. As scriptural students we know that in prophecy a woman represents a religious system, whereas a beast represents some sort of earthly government or kingdom. To those who have eyes to see and ears to hear what Daniel chapter 2 and chapter 7 is telling us, they have truly found the precious stone. The reason why these chapters are extremely important is because they reveal to us that there are only 4 earthly kingdoms, or governments that reign before the return of Yahushua Messiah. His kingdom, which has no end, is represented as the rock as outlined in Daniel chapter 2 verse 34. At his long-anticipated arrival this rock will destroy all the prior earthly kingdoms. Therefore, is it any wonder that on this day and age there would be much speculation as to just whom these beasts are, namely the fourth beast? Determining who the fourth beast is will allow us to clearly see where we stand in Yahuwah's timeline of this earth's age. There are groups that claim Islam is the fourth beast. I'm sure you have heard, or you might have even read a few articles on this subject. I even heard prominent messianic leaders say Islam are the tares. Yet, others say that the fourth beast is none other than the Roman Catholic Church. Who's right? Could Islam really be the fourth and last earthly kingdom to rise up before the return of the Messiah Yahushua? Scriptural prophecy is history written in advance. Therefore, when scriptures come to life we will witness extraordinary manifestations of these phenomenal events. Once these events occur, we call it world history. So let us journey back into time to find some clues that will lead us to uncover the identity of this fourth beast. Our journey begins with 4 young Hebrew boys. They were forced to leave their homeland. They were taken captive under the king of Babylon, his name, King Nebuchadnezzar. One night while sleeping this king had a dream. Being quite disturbed by the dream, Nebuchadnezzar called for all the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans to show him the interpretation of the dream. Since these so-called wise men were not able to perform the king's task, a death decree went forth. In rage, the king decided to destroy all the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers and Chaldeans within Babylon. One of the Hebrew boys, by the name of Daniel, really took a step of faith as he sought the king for some time. If the king permitted Daniel's request, he would be able to give the king the interpretation of the dream. The king agreed. Daniel and his 3 friends began to earnestly pray to Yahuwah. They sought mercy, asking not to be killed along with the wise man of Babylon. The mighty one of Israel heard his servant's prayer. Yahuwah revealed the dream to Daniel in a night vision. Ponder on how this humble servant of Yahuwah must have felt as he stood before the king of Babylon. Did his voice break as he said, "You, O sovereign, were looking on, and saw a great image. This great image, and its brightness excellent, was standing before you, and its form was awesome. This image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms, of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron, and partly of clay. You were looking on, until a stone was cut out, without hands, and it smote the image on its feet of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces. Then, the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. And the wind took them away so that no trace of them was found. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled all the earth. This was the dream that not only greatly disturbed the king of Babylon, but many were going to be put under a death decree, because they did not know the dream, nor its interpretation. After Daniel told the king his dream, he then went on to interpret it to him. You, O sovereign, are a sovereign of sovereigns. For the Allah of the heavens has given you a reign, power, and strength, and preciousness, and wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. Notice the servant of Yahuwah tells the king that he is the head of gold. Therefore, Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon is the first earthly kingdom represented as the head of gold. From here on out, ancient Babylon can be found in every political and religious system on this planet. As Daniel continues to give the interpretation, we find that the next earthly reigns will be lower than that of the head of gold. Just as silver is inferior to gold, brass is lesser in value than bronze, and iron is lesser than brass. However, anyone who knows about the different metals is aware that iron is extremely strong. And after you rises up another reign lower than yours, and another third reign of bronze that rules over all the earth. And the fourth reign is as strong as iron, because iron crushes and shatters all. So, like iron that breaks in pieces, it crushes and breaks all these. Yet, as you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the reign is to be divided. But, some of the strength of the iron is to be in it, because you saw the iron mixed with muddy clay. And, as the toes of the feet were partly of iron, and partly of clay, so the reign is partly strong, and partly brittle. And, as you saw iron mixed with muddy clay, they are mixing themselves with the seed of men, but they are not clinging to each other, even as iron does not mix with clay. Are you ready to be totally amazed to find out who the next earthly kingdom will be? One night King Nebuchadnezzar's son, King Belshatzar, was hosting a great party of about 1,000 men. To mock the mighty one of Israel, Belshatzar called for the gold vessels that belonged to the tekel of Yahuwah to be brought in. The people drank their wine out of these stolen Kodesh vessels. While they were giving thanks to the deity of fortune, something remarkable occurred. The king's color quickly changed as he witnessed the hand that appeared. The king called all the astrologers, the Chaldeans, the divinators, and even the wise ones, and told them, whoever reads this writing, and shows me its interpretation, is robed in purple, and has a chain of gold around his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the reign. Just as time of old, none of these so-called wise ones were able to interpretate the handwriting on the wall. The prophet Daniel was remembered and called up before the king. Daniel explained to the king the following, and this is the writing that was inscribed. Mene, tekel, yupharsin. This is the interpretation of each word, mene. Elah has numbered your reign, and put an end to it. Tekel, you have been weighed on the scales, and found lacking. Peers, your reign has been divided, and given to the Medes and the Persians. How devastating that must have been to the king. The kingdom of Babylon was indeed divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Darius of the Medes, and Cyrus of Persia conquered the head of gold in one fatal night.